It's day 493 of the quarantine. I don't know. All I know is that I have to feed my child, and I am gonna make Korean barbecue inspired meatballs because that sounded interesting, and I needed something interesting because I'm getting bored with cooking, because I'm bored with being in the house, and this seemed like a nice thing to do. Except then I remembered that my child hates everything I make, and he really hates Asian flavors, but I'm gonna make it anyway. Pray for me. Thank you. So to start cooking this dish, I actually just cut up some cucumbers and some red onion that I had and added some rice wine vinegar, the last of my rice wine vinegar actually. I added that to a shallow dish and I put them in there, and I'm just gonna let them hang out in the refrigerator while I do everything else. And they go so well with Asian food. It's so delicious. For the meatballs, I have cut up green onions. I've cut up a ton of garlic. And it calls for Ritz crackers. I know that that's like an old school thing that they used to do in a lot of recipes. And typically in Asian cooking, you would use panko crumbs. But I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens. It'll probably be delicious and buttery. So we are taking a pound of ground chuck. I did 80% because we want the fat. And then my assistant, go ahead, is going to dump in the Ritz crackers, which he pulverized into breadcrumbs gleefully and joyfully. You did a great job.
Yay!
Do I have to pay you?
Yes.
We'll talk about that later. And then I take a bunch of the green onions and add them to our mixture of breadcrumbs and garlic, because I already put the garlic in there. I didn't film that part. But the green onions are in there, and that's going to make it very flavorful. So the recipe calls for, I think it's 2 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. There's a pandemic and I didn't plan for that. So I have 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce, and I'm going to add that. And then the rest of my soy sauce is not low sodium. So I just need to go with my heart on how much non-low sodium soy sauce I'm going to add, and pray it doesn't turn out badly. Okay, my heart told me to add 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of not low sodium soy sauce. The recipe calls for later a teaspoon of kosher salt, so I'm just not going to add the kosher salt because I don't want it to be too salty. And then I'm going to pray over it and hope it works out. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of pepper. No kosher salt because, yeah, I don't want to die. So I'm going with my heart and my gut. This recipe does not call for toasted sesame oil, but I feel like it can't be a bad thing, so I'm just going to add it. Also, I'm leaning on my heart and gut a lot in this recipe, but they're Korean barbecue style meatballs. I've never really done Asian cooking, especially meatballs without ginger. So I'm adding a tablespoon of ginger. It might not be right, but it's definitely not wrong. All right, so I formed everything into meatballs. I forgot to say that I went against the recipe again and added an egg because it just felt right to my soul. And I formed all of these meatballs, and I'm about to put them in the oven for about 15 minutes at 425. These meatballs look incredible. All right, so you had the Korean barbecue inspired meatballs with jasmine rice. What did you think? That's it? Mm-hmm. Eh? Wow, really? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna need you to get off my Snuggie. That's number 1.
You gave it to me.
I do not recall that. And number 2, I need more than eh. I gave you super flavorful meatballs with a jasmine scented rice, and I expect some acknowledgement. It was okay. You know what? This is how children become orphans. Just so you know, in case you were wondering, This is how they become orphans. This right here. This is it.